Hello everyone, and welcome to Winter Moon Games Tabletop Reviews. My name is Chris, and I haven't posted a review in a while because I've been moving and things like planning a wedding kind of get in the way. But I'm very excited to be back, and today I'm showing off Wrestlenomicon by Fire Opal Games. So, Wrestlenomicon, not to be confused with Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead. Tell you what, if you stick around till the end of this video, I'll read an excerpt from the Necronomicon. Wrestlenomicon is a two-player card game where you're going to be playing as one of the two great old ones, either Cthulhu or Hastur, as you fight over the end of the world. Only one monster can rule the apocalypse. At the start of the game, you're going to lay out the play area, which is basically made up of 6 tiles and 1 ground zero tile. Those tiles have numbers 1 through 6 on them and are going to correspond to either side of the table. You're also going to give each player a deck of cards specific to their character, and they're going to draw 25 random cards from the deck, and they're going to put them aside on top of their guts mat, which is basically their health. You're then going to take the remaining cards, draw 7 for your starting hand, and put the rest aside. Now, gameplay for Wrestlenomicon is really easy. You're going to take one of the cards from your hand, probably an attack card, and you're going to play it on your turn. You're going to be looking at 2 icons on the attack card when you play it. Let's take this card for instance. Hands up your nose. On this card, the bottom left of the card shows 2 3s. One is in a box, and one is in kind of a explosion symbol there. The 3 in the box represents its position that you play it onto the play area. So like I mentioned before, the tiles are numbered 1 through 6 on the table. You're going to take this number, it's a 3, and you're going to place it on the 3 of the play area on your side of the table. The numbered tiles are conveniently double-sided, so either at orientation you're sitting on the table, the numbers are never really upside down for you. Now yes, that's an attack card, but nothing happens right away. The card must reach ground zero before it can attack, and the way it reaches ground zero is on my next turn. If I play another attack card, I'm going to be paying attention to that other little explosion symbol there. That means momentum. On this card, Fist Through the Chin, it has a position of 5 and it has a momentum of 3. So I'd place it on the 5 spot of the mat, and then I would move one card already on my track up 3 spaces toward ground zero. In this case, because he was previously placed on 3, he's going to move right up to ground zero and be able to attack right away. The bottom of each attack card has a regular attack, and it also has something called a slam attack. Slam attacks are done if certain conditions are met in ground zero. There are different types of attack cards. This one in particular is called Viscera. There are others called Dominance, Ranged, or Bizarre, and what those do is they slam specific cards. So this one, for instance, Hands Up Your Nose, is a Viscera, and it slams Bizarre. It always slams Bizarre. This card, which is titled Sometimes People Blow Up, is a Bizarre card, and it slams Dominance. That means when it reaches ground zero, if the opponent has that specific, requirement for what card it slams, then you would also do the slam attack in addition to the regular attack. So it really beefs up the strategy a little bit. You're going to want to be paying attention to where you're positioning your cards and how long it's going to take them to get to ground zero, how quickly you want to accelerate that process, and that requires to have the appropriate attack card title for that slam. It may sound confusing when I'm explaining it, but once you play once, it's really easy to pick up. There are other types of cards you can play on your turn other than attacks. There's permanent cards, which you can have 2 of in play at a time. They do different things, like they may damage a player every time they draw cards. They may allow you to continue to put cards on top of your guts. And speaking of guts, you're going to have 25 guts cards, which is equal to your health, and every time you take damage, you're going to be reducing those guts cards and discarding them according to whatever damage you took. Once a player runs out of guts, the game is over and the remaining player wins. And what self-respecting Cthulhu game would be complete without the sacrifice of following cultists? Yes, you can collect cultists certain times on your turn depending on certain cards that you play, and when you sacrifice cultists, you can actually add momentum to your track as you're moving monsters toward ground zero. And that, my friends, is about it. Wrestlenomicon is a very easy to pick up and play game with simple rules, and you're going to be playing head-to-head in a grudge match fight to the death with your friends. Who doesn't like that? Wrestlenomicon is live on Kickstarter now and has just a few days left, and they are well on their way to being funded. It's being put out by Fire Opal Games and being published by Arc Dream Publishing. Just a couple bits of criticism that I found when playing this game, but these are really kind of nitpicky. When you lay the tiles out 1 through 6, the numbers are oriented for you properly regardless of what side of the table you're sitting on. However, the attack cards and different cards you play from your hand, they only have the attack and the slam attacks and the title of the card oriented to you. Now the title of the cards, yeah, they're fun, but I almost don't know if they're necessary. I think what would have been interesting is if you took, the same exact information that you have on the bottom of the card and just rotated it, 180 degrees, so it's also oriented my opponent can read it. Because when you're playing cards, it's really important that you either communicate what you're playing or your opponent has to read the card, and it does kind of slow the game down a little bit because you have to read each card, especially if it's your first time playing. The artwork, I think, is a bit polarizing. I actually like it, but my opponent didn't care for it. I think if you have a weak stomach, some of this is a little grotesque and macabre. It's not really over the top. It's very much tongue-in-cheek. It's not a game that takes itself too seriously. So that's about it. I don't really have a lot of criticism. I actually enjoyed the game a lot more than I thought I would. I'm not a Cthulhu or a Lovecraftian fanatic, but I still had fun with this. I would actually recommend Wrestlenomicon to play with one of my friends as a gateway game, and they can maybe be introduced to the world of card games. So all that being said, I'm going to give Wrestlenomicon 4 out of 5 moons. So as always, you can find me on your social media platform of choice, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Please like and subscribe to this video. It really helps me out a lot. And if you'd like to support me and help me make this go full time and improve these videos, please consider supporting Winter Moon Games on Patreon. If you have a comment about Wrestlenomicon or you'd like me to review one of your games or preview for Kickstarter, please send me an email at cb@wintermoongames.com. As always, you can find more Winter Moon Games reviews at wintermoongames.com/reviews. Oh, and if you stuck around this video just to watch me read an excerpt from the Necronomicon, sorry to disappoint you, but I lied. I'm not reading from the Necronomicon. What are you, crazy? Have you ever seen Evil Dead?